From the time I was a baby girl, growing up in the capital city of South Africa, Pretoria, my mother introduced me to some great old school soul music, which I hope most of you are old enough to know and remember. The OJs, the Commodores, the Fighting Temptations. My mother had a soundtrack for almost every single situation we found ourselves in life. We had a bit of a tough upbringing. I remember there was a time I had to stop playing with other kids from the streets because I simply did not want them to notice that I have the same clothes. Also, because I don't want to play too much, get too hungry, and not be able to eat. Food became a luxury most of the time. When my mother, the ultimate love of my life, passed away almost 2 years ago, I sent her off singing our favorite song by the Spinners. I found love when I found you. Hello, happiness. Goodbye, loneliness. I found love when I found you. Hello, happiness. It wasn't until I was 12 years old that I found my love for music. I was in the Salvation Army and saw the brass band. So militant, so stern. They looked so figured out. And I was like, wow, I want to be a part of that. Our community pastor at the time announced that each and every person who wants to join the band must come to the band rehearsal next week, Tuesday. I was so eager, so excited. I looked at my mother and I was like, please drop me off next week, Tuesday. She dropped me off next week, Tuesday. And I was taught the basic theory of all music, which is the C scale. The C scale is your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. From there, I learned how to play the English horn, the cornet, the trumpet, the flugelhorn, all instruments from the brass family. They became extensions of myself. My arms, my legs, my lungs, I immersed myself fully in these brass instruments that I had access from church. My mother scraped through her last money to ensure that I can make it to as many rehearsals as I can. I remember there was this one time in art school where I just wanted to touch the grand piano in the music department. Mind you, this was a school I had to wake up each and every day at 4 a.m. in order to make assembly at 7:30. The music teacher at the time said to me harshly, "You cannot touch that piano. You cannot afford it." I remember holding on to that emotion of feeling excluded, of feeling like I cannot touch a piano, of feeling like I do not belong. I promised myself that given the chance, I will ensure that no other black child will be made to feel as though they cannot have access to music or even instruments just because they come from where I come from. When I started my youth choir and all-black orchestra as a non-profit company, my intention was to ensure that I introduce classical music to disenfranchised parts of the community. But not only that, but I wanted to make sure that if they see someone like them doing it, they can recognize that they too can get access. The transition into classical music, or conducting for that matter, was a natural one. And most of it came from me wanting to see more representation. I asked myself, why have I never seen an all-black symphony orchestra? I asked myself, why have I never seen another black woman who looked just like me, holding the baton and conducting? I asked myself, will there ever be a time where I see a great African opera performed in the world's greatest theaters and most elevated stages? I asked these questions, questions upon questions that I asked, and all of these questions came back to me. I needed to be the change that I wanted to see. Conducting requires structure, harmony, balance, technique, all of these elements that I learned as an architect. This is what I want people all across the world to learn from my story. I'm vision casting for the next young black child who has a crazy dream, but also knowing that it didn't just take me to be where I'm at today. It took the power of the collective, my mother, my community, and people who believed in me, sometimes more than I believe in myself. How I want to contribute to this great power of the collective is to ensure that the magic of Africa is known all across the world through its sound. My name is Ofentse Pitse, an architect by profession, a music conductor by purpose. I am a proud African woman.